on columns. We want to explain to you what are columns. So firstly, let's make this video a little bit bigger. Maybe it would make sense. Okay. And then I'll reverse, and then I'll take the page like this. So this is a page, is a A4 page. So I'll take a page like this. This is a A4 page. Okay, this is a A4 page. This one, A4. So when I'm holding a page like this, so it means it's landscape. It's like this. It's portrait. Now I'm speaking about columns when we are doing columns. Okay. So to look at this page, when I fold it like this. When I fold it like this page like this, it's still the A4. Okay? But it's folded now. Now when I fold the page like this, it has front side, back side. So this is a cover, back side cover, and a front side cover. Okay. And then when I open it like this, is a inside left and is inside right, because the reader will read it like this. There will be left to the side and there will be right here. So that is a brochure layout. When you speak about the brochure in the A4, it appears like that, although in the exam they will say A5 brochure, or in a test, because printers and the materials that in general we are using is A4, not A5. So you still choose the page A4. Okay, don't choose page A5. Choose the page A4. Although the instructions from the examiner will say to you A5. Choose A4. Okay, that was the first one, and then. Second one, it's a trifold. Okay, so when you speak about the trifolds, let me fold my A4 paper and show you. Oh, sorry, for the A5 brochure, the one that I showed you and then I said it's a brochure, is the A5 brochure. For that one, it's 4 columns or 3 columns. It's less than 4 columns. So the first column and the second column, normally they will tell you which one is the inside cover, front cover or back cover, or inside left, inside right. So it's 4 columns when we are doing columns. Now the second one is this one. So you fold a paper like this, and it has 3 sides. Okay, it has 3 sides like this. So it's 3 or 6, 3 columns or 6 columns. Okay. If it's like this, is a 6 columns, so it has 1, 2, 3 in the first page, and in the second page is 1, 2, 3. Those are the columns. Now, when it comes to columns, we also have columns in the table. So you must read carefully the instructions if they refer to the A5 brochure columns, of which is 4 columns or less than 4 columns, or a trifold columns, of which is 6 or 3 columns. Okay, and sometimes columns on the table. So the columns on the table, it simply means that they will tell you how do you insert a table and what columns that you put on the table and all that. Okay. I'm trying to open a new Word document here. Okay, this is a new Word document. We'll go straight to the exam and treat the exam. Normally I have part 1 and part 2, but this one is only have one part, this part. So I'll try to explain and treat the exam at the same time. And the columns is what I was speaking about. Now, I was speaking about the columns in the table. So the columns in the table, for example, you only put the columns like this. If it's a 3-column table, you just put 3 columns. If it's a 4-column table. Okay, for this one, for the columns on the table, we'll do another video treating the question paper. But so these are the columns on the tables. Okay, so columns of the tables is like this, and you might find out in the columns on the table they would want you to take this column and turn the direction of the column right, left, or something like that. So this is a column on the table. Okay, the table column, this one. Okay, so I've just touched the word column and I compared the word column into 3 questions. The first question was the question of the A5 brochure, for which mostly it's used for when you are designing, let's say it's a wedding invitation or obituary. So you use the columns and you use the A5 brochure approach, of which we will not do it today. And then the second one, it was a trifold brochure, and also the trifold brochure we will not do today. And you use it when you do the trifold brochure, for example, the advertisement for brochure for hotels or for institutions, for any brochure, pamphlet and whatsoever. So that's the A5 brochure. So the columns on the table, the topic is pamphlets mostly. So you can use the columns on the table like this to do pamphlet. We will also not do 3 of those today. But there's also a question that will come and just want you to do columns. It does not need you to do a A5 brochure for which it has 4 columns. It does not need you to do a threefold brochure for which it has 6 or 3 columns. It does not need you to do a table brochure. Let's say a table brochure, a table columns. Does not need you to do table columns or any of the columns on the page, but it just needs you to do plain columns. Just speak about columns. It does not say A5 brochure. It does not say trifold. It does not also say table. It does not speak about the columns on the table. It does not speak about the A4 brochure. It does not also speak about trifold. It does not speak about those. But it wants columns. Okay, so it's a question of columns. So it's what we will do today, just columns. Okay, right, sharp. And then that was part of columns. So with columns, to do columns, you first type. The reason that you first type before you do your columns is that you can do the section columns, because when you do the section columns, it's better when you do the section columns. Okay, just type first, and then after typing, you highlight where you want to do columns, and then you go to page layout, you go to columns, and then you choose more columns, and then you choose the columns that you want to enter. And then they will tell you what is a column width to use and what is a spacing to use. Okay, and then you can say the whole document or selected text or this section. So sometimes it's a selected text, sometimes it's this section. Depend on what you want. Do you want the columns for the whole page or only this section or a selected text? So if you type more than 3 paragraphs, it will have another option here that says only this section, and that one is the one that I recommend that you use. And then if they want you to insert a line between the columns, you click here. That was columns. Now, on the same vein, I know it's another topic, but sometimes they ask a question of columns in conjunctions with the line of process, flowcharts. Okay. When you speak about flowchart, just think of text boxes and shapes. Okay. So when you speak about the flowchart, you speak about text boxes. This one, this guy, text box. This guy. or shapes, this one. For example, if you select this shape and you draw it, after drawing this shape, you would want to format the shape, the fill, it should say no fill, the outline should be black. Okay, this is the shape, you've inserted the shape. Now sometimes you would want to write the text inside of this shape. So for you to do that, you go to insert, you choose a text box. After choosing a text box, let's say maybe for example you put a text box like this, and then you type whatever you want to type on the text box, on the shape. Thereafter, you will go and format the text box by saying no fill as well, and then you say no outline as well. So after doing that, you click on the side. It means you have typed on the shape. It's the same way, same vein when you want to type on a picture. Use a text box. Okay. For example, if you want to do an organogram, for example, if you want to do an organogram, it's fine. I'll do another video when we do the processes, smart arts and flowcharts. But the example of flowcharts doing the organogram, you will choose a text box, you put it here, you type, for example, manager, and then after typing manager, you then copy the text box. And then let's say maybe you need 4 text box in total, and then you paste times 3. And then you then put your text boxes the way you arrange them, the way you want them to appear. Okay. And after doing that, after arranging them the way you want them to appear, say maybe you want them appear like this, for example. And then here it's a manager, here it's the assistant manager. Okay, for example, if here it's the assistant manager, sorry guys, yeah. Maybe this is a financial manager. Maybe this is a HR manager, for example. Maybe this is marketing manager. It's an example, I'm just putting it. So this is how you do your flowcharts. It's an example I'm doing. Then after here, you will draw the line that will connect them, or you draw the lines the way you want to connect them. That was the example. Okay. Now let's go and treat the question of today. So the question of today, it comes from the question paper. It's question number 3. It says flowcharts. So I've said to you, when you treat the flowchart, you think of text box and shapes. That's flowcharts. Okay? But when I read here, it says 40 marks. The page margins is 1.27, 1.7. Line spacing is single. Hyphenation is yes. Alignment should be original or left. Font 12 Arial. Paper, it's A4 portrait. Key in exemption number. Take manuscript size into consideration. Key in as indicated. Create a flowchart. So flowchart, I repeat, text boxes and shapes. Okay, save and print the document as question 3. Put the print results in the examination folder. Food Primite, create 3 columns. So here they never spoke about A5 brochure. They've said A4 portrait. Therefore, it's normal columns. There is nowhere they speak about trifold. There is nowhere where they speak about the brochure. So it means that it's just normal columns. So it's not a whole page columns. Okay, here is a difference. So if they tell you that create columns and they don't say there is no word brochure there, it's not the whole page column, it's a section columns. So it's a best that you don't start by going to columns and select columns. It's the best that you start by typing them as paragraphs, then you will select them. Then after selecting them, you will then make them into a columns. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So it says flowcharts. So it means when it says flowcharts, you think of what? You think of text boxes and shapes. It also says create 3 columns. So when I was explaining earlier, I said that columns, the question of columns can come and ask you to create a A5 brochure. So it means it's the whole page brochure times 2, multiplied by 2. So in the first page you make 2 columns, but those columns they fit into the whole page. It's 2 columns. That's the A4 brochure. And the second page you make another 2 columns, so that you can have that page to say the first part of the page is the inside out, the other one is the first page, the first side of the page is the cover, is the first cover, is the front cover, and then is the inside left, inside right, there is back cover. So in the first page you are doing the outside part of it, and then in the second page you are doing the inside page of it. So that's when the question says A5 brochure. But when you are doing it, when you are selecting the page there, don't select A5, select A4, because it's just for you to check if you do understand what is meant by A5 brochure. Then when it comes to A5 brochure, in these days or contemporary, they are using A4. They are using A4, but classic in olden days, A5, they used to fold A5 to make that brochure, but in these days they are just doing it on the A4. And the good example, the invitation for wedding these days, they are using A4 and then they fold it into 2. The school report, they fold it into 2. The example of an A5 brochure thing, and you use columns, it's 2 columns per page, that one. And those columns, they go to the whole page. And then we go to trifold brochure. It's when you fold the page into 3 folds. So if you did like that, you also do the columns for the whole page. Okay? And then when you do the columns for the whole page, it's 3 columns per page. But if it's a display work, mostly it will need you to insert a table. So you use a table as your columns if it's a display work, the question of display work. And then sometimes they just ask for columns, like here. So here they've just asked columns. So you are not using a trifold, you are not using a A4 brochure, you are also not using a table to do that. What you are going to use in this one is a section columns. So with a section columns, you start by typing the paragraphs, and then you also do the section breaks so that your columns end where you want them. Let's do it. So the question, it says you must create 3 columns. At the back of your mind, to keep in mind that there is flow charts, so there is shapes and text boxes. But it says that create 3 columns. Distance between the columns must be 1.7 centimeter. Okay. Or this one, if you are using inches. So if you are using centimeters in your computer, it's 1.7. Insert a vertical line between the columns. Insert any bullet and indent. It's an indent back. Because now when you insert a bullet, it goes to your right. Then you need to indent back so that you create more space, but it's fine. Okay. Now, in this question, they start with column 3, and then they go to column 2, and then they speak about column 1. So it means that we'll start by creating column 1. And then the part of the flow chart is this foot pyramid, so it means that you will use shapes and text boxes to create this pyramid, because it's a flow chart question. Now, there is a flow chart and there is a smart art, so pay attention on questions. If it says flow chart, stick to the step okay. We'll do the process charts the other day. The other video will be with the process charts or the smart art. But now we speak about flow charts using text boxes. Okay. Let's do it. So in a new Word document that we've created, let's put this Word document like this, and let's put it like this, and then let's change this PDF and put it like this. And this PDF, it's questions, and this is answers. It's a Word, what you do. So column 1, before column 1, let's start the way the question paper. So we must write foot pyramid and jump 2 lines according to this manuscript sign. Okay. So let's do that. Foot pyramid. Foot pyramid. Okay. After foot pyramid, and then we pyramid. We uppercase. Where are you? Yeah. We uppercase, but not just uppercase. Spaced cap. So spaced, space, 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 and space. That's the space cap. Okay. After the space cap, it should be 24 centered. So it's centered, and it's also 24. Okay. And then double underline, double underline highlighted. So it's double underline and highlighted. They didn't tell us the color. Let's just choose this color. Okay, sharp. And then we go back to 12, to the original 12. And then we jump to space. So it's 1, 2. Okay, before we jump to space, I forgot to tell you this, and this is a generic instructions. Before you write your test and your exams, always, even if they didn't tell you, although here they've told you that the line spacing, it should be single. Even if they didn't tell you, you always make the line spacing single, unless they want other line spacing. But you see now when I go here, it's multiple, so it should be single always, and you do not want to leave double line spacing between the paragraphs. So you say, okay, that is original, that is a standard, or that should be a default. And then you say enter twice because of this sign. Okay. Now after this sign, it says candidate, now they can create 3 columns. Then this should go to column 1, to column 3. This should go to column 2, and this should go to column 1. So we'll start by doing column 1. So let's do column 1. We'll go to home, okay? Home or left alignment, and then we type column 1. So here it says many people So here it says many people have difficulty trying to translate a chart of recommended RDAs into a plan. So let's type that one. Many people. Okay, let's remove double underline. So it's many people, right, have difficulties trying to translate a chart of recommended RDAs. Okay, and then here you fix the word chart of recommended RDAs, space, RDAs, and then space into plan for nutrient, into a plan of nutritious eating, into a plan. Nutritious eating. Okay. And then there is this sign here. The name of the sign is run-on. It means you take this paragraph, you put it here. So let's do that. After nutritious eating, and then we say home economist, comma dietitians, comma nutritionist. Okay. So, home economist, comma dietitian, comma nutritionist. Okay, and others have developed a simple way for us. Okay, and others have developed a simple way for us. Okay, to focus on food rather than nutrients. To focus on food rather than nutrients. As we plan. Now this sign, this sign is to transpose. Sometimes it comes with numbers to tell you 1 and 2. Okay, the transposed sign, it means we start with this word, we finish. So it now says healthy diet. Okay. And then the word diet. Okay. And then after that, healthy diet, we put the full stop, the space, and then it is called /food guide pyramid. So we say eat called the food guide pyramid, and includes 6 food groups, and includes 6. Now we put it in weights because it's underlined and there is this manuscript sign that says in full, so we change this underlined weight to the manuscript, of which is 6 food groups. 6 food groups, and I did not retain underline, if you can check. I did not retain underline, so I left it like that. And then after that you do paragraph 2, but then you press enter to do paragraph 2. So paragraph 2 starts with a slash food pyramid, but the letter F and Y has been underlined. So let's go and check what the manuscript sign. So the manuscript sign here, it's uppercase for these 2, and the manuscript sign for this one we delete. Sometimes it's a stats, it means we don't delete. Okay, so forward slash will say the food pyramid is an outline of what to eat each. Is an outline of what to eat, okay, each day, because of that manuscript that says we must delete this manuscript sign, so we don't put this one. Based on dietary guidelines, okay. Based on dietary guidelines. Then there is a run-on sign here. This sign, it means we take this and put it here. It's a run-on sign. Okay. And then after that, the dietary guideline, full stop, space, run-on. It is not this is an insert sign. Let's look at the manuscript sign. So it says we must insert the word rigid. So it will read, it is not a rigid prescription but a general guideline. Okay. It is not a rigid but a generic guideline. And then it is not a generic guideline that helps people to choose a healthy diet. So that helps people to choose healthy guidelines. Okay. So after that, help people to choose healthy guideline, there is a full stop, and then forward slash parameters suggest that the individual eat a, okay, the pyramid suggests that individual, not people, suggest that individual eat a, Now this weight variety has been underlined. Let's check the manuscript sign. It says we must check the spelling here. So the spelling of variety is wrong. So say a variety, okay, of foods to get. Then forward slash nutrients and forward slash amount of kilojoules and And then this manuscript sign, this one, is called close up. So if you find it like this, it means that you make it one word. Okay, of kilojoules. So it's kilojoules. Oh, spelling of kilojoules. Okay, get you. I get you. Okay, of kilojoules, and then they need to maintain health. And then full stop. And then we do the third column or the third paragraph. Okay, let's go to the third paragraph. So this is a third paragraph. It says, according to the / Paramount, people should start with a plate of bread. So we say according to / Pyramid, people should do what? People should start with a plenty of bread, and then comma, cereal, rice, pasta. Sorry for that. Rice, pasta. And then meat is been delayed. We check if it's a state or delayed. If it's delayed, then we delete it. Pasta, and then so it starts to say vegetables and fruits. Vegetables and fruits. And then semicolon space. Add 2 to 3 savings from the milk crop. Add 2 to 3 savings from the milk crop. Okay, and then 2 to 3 savings from the meat crop. Now this 2 and 3 has been underlined. Let's check the manuscript sign. Says in full. So, and 2 to 3 saving from the meat crop. And 2 to 3 from the meat crop. And then it also says that sorry for that, I'm trying to say this was underlined, but when I check and correct it according to manuscript sign, I didn't underline them. And go easy on fats. And go easy on fats. Okay. After that, comma, oils and sweets. Okay. Comma, oils and sweets. Now, before you put your thing, you put your cursor here. Before you put your section columns, you put your cursor here. You say enter, and then you go to home. You go to home. You insert this sign so that you can see things that you are doing. Okay, because you are about to insert a section break here, and then you can put a break here. What did I put? Line spacing? Paragraph lines? No, I don't want paragraph lines. Line numbers, I don't want it. I want to put a section break. So you go to continuous and you put the break. You see this is the break that I'm speaking about, sharp. So you have a break here, then you go here at the end, you press enter, and you also put another break there. You go to layout, go to breaks, you choose continuous. So you've got a break here and a break here. so that when you select this one and you go to page layout, you go to your columns, you go to more columns, so that when you do that, okay, let us make this one bigger, because we are about to do it. So you will select it like this. Don't forget your breaks here, they will help you. And then you go to page layout, you say columns, you say more columns, and then you want it to be 3 columns. Okay, it's 3 columns, you choose 3, and then you say selected section, and then you put a line between the column. Okay, I think the column width, it was 1.27, I'm not sure, but let's try it. It's 1.27, and then you say okay. No, 1.27, it's so small, but basically that's how you put your columns. You go to layout, you choose more columns, you make it 3 columns. Okay. I think then after 3 columns, only this section, selected section, and then you put a line between the columns, and then you say okay. Yeah, this one is better. So me looking at these columns, they are not aligned. So you can increase the section by clicking here, pressing the enter, so that you have more space for the columns. And you can click here, you press enter, so that your columns are aligned, so they're in one. So you're done with the column. And then in this side, you still have the side here. That was the reason for you to insert section breaks. You can remove the marker, okay, this thing. You can remove it so that your document is like this. It does not have a lot of things. And then you double click here, okay, and then you have inserted the columns that they want you to insert. You have inserted the columns that they want you to insert. There is line between the columns. Okay, you can put a cursor here and press delete, so that the columns are aligned with the line in between. Okay. This is how you put columns and the line in between. And then the next part is the flowchart part. Let's go to the question paper and see what the question paper is saying about flowcharts. After that, you go to the flowchart number. There is a star. Okay, the star, it means move. The star, it means move. Okay, so you'll take this to the star. It means a lot of things, but there is this arrow that says take this one and move it here. So they say the candidate insert a column break after column number 3. It's the part where I was saying section break. You saw I've put a section break. Let me show section break here. So it breaks there, it's fine. Okay, and then after you put your column break there, and then you come to here, you double click maybe, and then you insert this flowchart, of which is text box and shapes. So the first shape here is a pyramid. Okay, let's insert the pyramid. So the first shape is a pyramid. Okay, you'll go to insert and you choose the triangular shape. Okay, and then you draw your big triangle shape here. Okay, and you put it maybe in the middle of the page where you feel it's good, maybe here. Okay. And then you go to format, you say no fill, remember the no fill part, and the outside border part to be outside outline to be black. Okay, you do it here, sharp. Okay. And then this is how it will show in the page. And then let's go and check what's the next two instructions. Oh, I forgot to move the food parameter wording. So this one should be smaller than this. So maybe if it can be like this, it's better. So that I can move. I forgot just to move. They said move the guide to daily food choices, 16 PT italic and so the guide to food choices. The guide to food choices, and then it should be 16 PT, centered and italic. I think it was also uppercase. Let me check. There is no uppercase here. The guide to food choices. Then I do not underline because the underline that was there was just to tell me from where to format. Okay. Sharp. Then the next thing, you put them lines in this food parameter. So the first line is here to here. Let me just make the page bigger so that I can just do this food parameter in piece. And we can maybe try to let's use this one. So after inserted this line, maybe you can copy it and paste it, and paste it, and paste it, and paste it. So you take this one, for example, you put it here, and you stretch it to here. And then you take this one, for example, you put it here. This one, for example, you put it here, and then you stretch it. You also take this one, for example, you put it here, or there was no division in fruits. Let's check. There is. And then maybe you also, okay, let's delete this one. Also delete this one. Let's just move this one a little bit higher. Shapes and text boxes for flowchart. And then the last one is this one. You can take it and join it here. If you like to, just pull the other one straight upside. So you have your food parameter here. I think it's better. Delete this one, and maybe you use one line. I think it's more better if it's like this. Sure. There we go. You have your food parameter. And then after you have your food parameter, you use text boxes to put the text here. So you will go to here and choose a text box and you throw it here. After throwing a text box here, let's see what the content in the text box: fats, new line oils, and new line sweets. Okay. So the first one is fats. Okay, for the text box, the line spacing is single. Okay, but let's type first. It's fats, new line, oils, the bigger brackets, new line. Okay, oils and new line or new paragraph, sweets. Okay. And then you highlight all of these. You go to home, line spacing, it should be single. Okay, single, and then you say okay, and then you press enter, and then you say use sparingly. And then it should be uppercase and bold. They use sparingly according to this manuscript sign. Okay, and then you will put this one here, and then you go home, you center, and then after center you put it here. There you wanna move. And then after putting it here, you go to format, no outline, no fill and no outline, no fill and no outline. So you're done with the first part. Of which is this one. And then you come to this one, it says meat, poultry, new line, fish, beans. You transpose the word beans and dry. Okay, let's start by putting a text box here. You go to insert, you choose a text box, and then after choosing a text box here, you will then type meat, comma, poultry, new line, fish, dry beans, because of the transposing, new line, eggs and nuts, and then eggs and nuts, it's eggs and nuts. Okay, new line, group, -3, saving. This is in the new lines, and then we highlight everything. We go to home, line spacing, single, and then we try to align it. This one should be bold. So we try to align it so that it fits in here, and then we say no outline. This one we left align it, left align, and then we say no outline the format, no outline, no fill. Okay. After no outline, no fill, it will sit like that, and then we come to this part. It says we must you fix the spelling of yogurt, insert another text box. So for this text box, we align this one. Aligning this one, we then type the first part is milk. The first part is milk. It's milk, comma, yogurt, and the end. Then there is a paragraph for new line. It's cheese group. And then there is enter for a new line. 2 minus 3, 7. So 2 minus 3, 7, it should be uppercase and bold. So we go to home for your uppercase and for your bold, and then we make it a single line spacing, and then we align it again so that it can fit. Anyway, you format, no outline, no fill, no outline. Okay. And then you go to this part of pyramid, this one. In this one, you say insert text box, you put it like this, you left align it, and then it reads fruit group, then you type fruit group, and you press enter for new line, says 2 minus 4, 7. And then you will only the word saving, uppercase and bold. Because of this manuscript sign. Okay. And then for your no outline for this one, if you like to, you would just do one like that, and you just copy and paste the text box, then you take it to here. Maybe you type bread, comma, cereal, comma, rice, and pasta group, rice and pasta group, and then say 6 to 11. So you just say 6 to 11, saving, and then you copy, you paste this one again, and then you take it. It does not copy. Oh my god. Okay, let's copy this one. Or for it to copy, you must select it like that. You take it and so if the box does not want to move, it's like a picture, you text wrap it. So after you can text wrap it tight, square, or whatever you want to text wrap it as. Here it's this one you right align this one. So here it's a vegetable groups. So here it's a vegetable group. And then it's 3 to 5 serving. Thank you guys for watching. That's all for today. In today's we're speaking about columns, and we also speak about flowcharts. The next video you can watch next video, but let me show you your final product. So this would be your final product. If you like to, you can even center this one just to be nice. Okay, so this is your final product of that question. Please don't forget to click and subscribe so that my channel can grow. Thank you guys. We're treating that question paper. So these are columns, this is flowcharts. And every time when you open a Word document for test and exam purpose for a person in the class, please always remember to make a line spacing to be single, and you always tick here. Always, even if they didn't tell you to put your line spacing in single. Otherwise, when they say put your line spacing in double, then it's when you can change them. Or they say double between the paragraphs, you untick here. But if they didn't tell you anything, please make sure it's single here, so that it's like alignment. The left alignment it's default, and the single line spacing should be default. Thank you.